Hey there! Are you wanting to reduce your toxin exposure but you feel like budget is getting in your way? Well, I've been there, and so I want to share with you some of my favorite frugal tips on reducing your exposure to toxins. So, this was one of the hardest things for me when I first got started on my health journey. We were on a very tight budget, and I grew up in poverty. I'm always very frugal, and I was actually an extreme couponer at the time. So, Rite Aid was paying me to take home the Pantene Pro V and the Tide detergent and all that. So, it was very hard for me to give those things up. So, I'm going to share with you today some of the ways that I came up with to reduce my toxin exposure without breaking the budget. Tip number one is to learn how to DIY. You guys, there is so much that you can do with very few ingredients and cheap ingredients. So, especially like cleaning, vinegar and baking soda go a long ways. And I used to make my own deodorant, and it worked very well. I was a nurse at the time, and even after working this 16-hour shift, I did not smell. I will try to leave that recipe below if I can find it. I buy my deodorant now, but I did used to make it all the time, and it worked very well for me. I also made my own lip balms, my own lotions. I did not have luck with shampoo. Shampoo is one of those things that's really hard to find a good DIY. But you can find different things and you can try it. It's just that my hair is really, really fine and I tend to have an oily scalp. So it's really hard to find something that worked for me. But you can save money on these other things to kind of make up for the things that you do end up having to purchase. My second tip is to just get rid of the things that aren't necessary that are bringing toxins into your home. Things like Glade plugins, things like scented candles, incense. I'm sorry. I grew up with incense burning all the time, and it's very nostalgic. We get attached to these scents and things, but they really are bad for us. So giving up those kinds of things, the air fresheners and dryer sheets too. Dryer sheets, you guys, that's doing nothing but just coating your clothing with chemicals. So if you want to, you can buy reusable dryer balls to help reduce static and just throw those out. Now, for indoor air quality, I know that we can't all afford an awesome air purifier. I wish it's on my wish list, but I can't afford it. And I know a lot of you can't either. So some other things that you can do to improve your air quality at home. For one, if you're not removing your shoes at the door, please do that. Do not wear your shoes in the house. If you do have to wear shoes in the house, like I have arthritis in my feet, I have to wear shoes always. But I have a separate pair of shoes that I wear in the house, and I don't wear my shoes from the outside in the house because that will track in all kinds of chemicals and things that we're walking throughout our day. And open up your windows on a nice day. Let some fresh air come in from the outside and air your house out. Another thing that you can do if you do need an air purifier or an air filter even, because something is better than nothing, right? Go on your local Buy Nothing group. Go in your Facebook, under groups, search for Buy Nothing. And these are groups that are based on a giving culture. And so, you can go in there and say, hey, I really need an air filter. Does anyone happen to have one laying around? I would love to have it. And you can get free items that way. Now, you probably won't get a really high quality one, but something is better than nothing, right? And the same goes for pots and pans, glassware, things like that. You guys, you can get on these groups and you can ask for things like that people aren't using anyways. So I got so many things off of my local Buy Nothing group. Unfortunately, I don't have one here locally to me, but it's a great resource if you do happen to have one. And if you have the bandwidth, maybe you could start one. I don't have the bandwidth for that, but they're a great resource. Now, for organic foods, I know this is controversial too, because there was a study that came out a few years ago suggesting that organic is not any better. Well, it was kind of taken out of context. Organic is going to be better as far as toxin load, but I know that we can't all afford to eat organic, right? So visit ewg.org and look for the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 lists. And I use those when I do my organic shopping. Okay, I do not eat all organic. I can't afford it. Especially the way grocery prices have gone up these past few years. They're always creeping up, right? So when I buy organic food, I'm utilizing these lists. The Clean 15, these are produce items that have very low amounts of pesticides, and the dirty dozen are going to be the most pesticide laden produce items. And so those are things that I prioritize buying organic. And if you're able to grow a garden, that's another great way to save on organic produce. Of course, there's a learning curve and a little bit of an investment in the beginning, but it is definitely worth it. Look, I have an asparagus patch and a little herb garden. Those alone save me tons of money. Look at how expensive organic herbs are, organic asparagus. That can save you a ton. So even just starting small with a little herb garden in your windowsill, that can save you money in the long run on organic herbs. Now, things like plastics in the kitchen and things like that, you can easily replace those with just mason jars or old salsa jars and things like that that you might have laying around. I drink out of a mason jar. I'm very clumsy. I've never broke one yet. So that's like basically what I use for my water bottle is I use a mason jar. Now, obviously, if you're on a road trip or something, you forgot your jar, please don't dehydrate yourself. You need to be drinking lots of water to flush out those histamines and other toxins and things. You need water, so don't forego it if you forget your water bottle, but glass is always best. So DIY, open your windows, take your shoes off, utilize your Buy Nothing group if you have one locally, and throw away those Glade plugins. So you guys, I know that was brief, but I hope it was helpful. And as I go deeper into each one of these topics, I will definitely also include budget-friendly ways to utilize the things that I go through. I just wanted to share this with you today to show you that it's possible, because I feel like some people just feel like if they're on a budget, if money's tight, like there's nothing they can do and it feels helpless and hopeless, and that's absolutely not true. So even just utilizing one or two of these tips can really make a difference in your level of toxin exposure. So don't despair. I will always share with you, if I know a budget tip, I will share it with you when I'm talking about different ways to reduce your toxin exposure. Okay, and if you have any tips, then please feel free to share them in the comment section. And if you have any questions, of course, leave a comment. Okay, take care.